Hey, I'm Whit Terry, and this is my mobile fanatic story.
Oh man, he didn't make it. 80 yards.
What we started noticing is once about August hit, our bucks and deer population just kind of vanished. And the challenges that we were facing is no water, and it's super dry. We had no browse for these deer to eat. So come October opener, we weren't very thrilled because nobody's seeing anything. Landowners not really seeing much. And we just got to a point where like, okay, we literally got to grid search this property and see if there's anything that we're missing. And one day I was driving to the farm and you kind of pass right by this place. And I look over there and there's just, every time I would drive by there, I'm like, man, there's more deer over there. There's does, there's deer crossing the road. Like either these deer are crossing the road right here and going to the neighboring place for a reason, or they're just living over here in this corner. And so after coordinating with some of the other guys on the place, I was like, hey, I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna check this place out and just see what's going on because I keep seeing deer over there. Drove in, parked the truck, got out, and the first thing I noticed in this wood thicket is this tiny little watering hole. Literally, I was like, okay, this is a water source for these deer. That has to be why they're over here. So I go walk around the pond and it's just beat up with tracks. I mean, the deer obviously hitting this thing because it's their only water source for miles. There's scrapes, rubs, it's thick timber, there's a briar thicket, and I was like, wow, okay, this water source is a big deal, and these deer are held up in this little patch of 40 acres of woods. And so I move in, and it was difficult because all these little scrub oaks in there are not very big around, and I'm thinking I got to get as high up as I can, and I'm gonna really have one lane to shoot. And it wasn't in the tree an hour, and a little buck comes out. I'm sitting there watching these deer in front of me, and the whole time I hear deer walking behind me. So I have to go full ninja mode. And I'm looking at these younger bucks, and I just figured it was more does coming. And I catch a small glimpse of antlers coming through the trees. And so I lock in on him on the camera, and once he clears the brush, I see what deer it is, and it's this big 8. And it's just like all mature deer. When a mature deer steps out, all the other deer tend to clear the area or move out of his way. And that's what happened. He comes out, and the deer kind of scatter out. He comes, just like mature deer do, come around, come downwind, circles all the way around the whole set that I have. And I don't know if the feed that I had on the ground spooked him, or he just smelled something he didn't like. He could have smelled where I walked in, or he could have caught just a glimpse of my wind when the wind was swirling, and he kind of spooked off into the woods, and the other deer kind of spooked off as well. And at that point, I'm thinking, okay, well, he's alerted all the other deer. It's game over, right? And so I'm just sitting there patiently hoping that this deer might come back, because no deer really blew or alerted. He just spooked off into the wood line. And I'm sitting, and then you'll see a slight movement on my camera, and I actually catch it on my camera screen. And he's literally right underneath my tree, but it's so thick that you can only just make out like his feet in the ground.
pretty sure I heard him go down. All right. Found my arrow. There's good blood everywhere. Oh, he broke my arrow. Good blood on it. Oh yeah, perfect blood. Oh man, he didn't make it. Maybe 80 yards.
Man, what can I say? It's just one of those quick hunts where you sneak in
Got it done long
and
time.
your plan works out. Quick hunt. It's one of those things that you don't expect. You go in there and an hour later you kill the buck that you're after. I mean, that doesn't always happen. That was my 48th whitetail with my traditional bow, so super pumped about it. And even the your traditional places that you have set on your property,
This is one of the good deer we
you just got to keep an open mindset that some of these deer could be locked up in areas that you just least expect them to be. It just all goes to the mobility of hunting. To have the ability to get in there and get it done.